You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get to our first discussion of the day now. Last discussion of the day. The bane of existence of every business or organization is a human resource that works behind the scenes. The happy worker will no doubt be willing to put in his best to increase the productivity of any organization and in turn contribute his quota to boosting the nation's economy. For an average Nigerian worker, there are many factors sure to increase a worker's productivity, such as adequate remuneration, payment of salaries and bonuses as at when due, job security, enabling environment, recognition, promotion, and many others. But many workers today bemoan their plight as these motivational factors appear to be missing, pitting them against government on a constant struggle for improved welfare. Now, joining me in the studio is Chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress, Lagos State Chapter, Comrade Funmilayo Sesi. It's nice to have you, Comrade.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Great. Your national, the president of the NLC was speaking recently, and he said, everything that we got was a product of a struggle. Nothing was given to say, well, workers, you deserve this, take. Everything was a product of struggle. Is that the case?
That's a correct statement by the president of Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba. Because you know, this the country where we call our own is a country where it's full of deceitful leadership, where they don't walk the talk. It is only pre-election period that they will come with promises, and then they will come with so much promises to Nigerians and most especially to workers that we should vote them in. When they get there, they will do so much more for workers and for Nigerians only. But immediately they get there, they will forget about all their election and campaign promises, and then all the policies that will affect the people positively, it's not what they will begin to do. They begin to think about their own selfish interest. And most of the time, you know, it's like this country is being ruled by the leadership who cannot actually, you know, take the leadership, who cannot be in control, but being surrounded by cabals who have to dictate the way and the manner in which the country will be run to them. So as such, what we see and what my president has said is the truth and nothing but the truth. We have to forcefully, most of the time, to get all that is desired for the workers. Their privileges and their rights are always being trampled upon. And at all times, labor need to fight and struggle before you even get peanuts for the workers.
This is quite troubling if that is the situation, because the point there is workers meet their own obligation by paying taxes to government, which is based on that contract. Workers are supposed to pay taxes to government, and then government in turn provide whatever they need to provide, from security to welfare to other things, infrastructure, social amenities, and so on. If workers are constantly paying taxes, then government is supposed to meet its own obligation. But let's talk about the issue of minimum wage. Now, on the May Day this year, there were cheers from Edo State when the governor announced that the minimum wage will now become 40,000 instead of the regular minimum wage that is even stipulated. And that should be an encouraging or motivational factor for workers there. A lot of states still are not paying the minimum, or even the statutory minimum wage yet.
Well, it's well, from Edo, the news is a surely one, and we are very happy and grateful to that governor for that announcement. It should not just only be an announcement. It should also implement, as he has come out to tell the whole world that this is what he is going to do. And I think it should be a yardstick for other governors in other states, you know, to take a cue from the goodness of that governor And I'm very, very sure that the governor of Lagos State is very, very soon, because we told him in our own May-Day speech that the minimum wage is nowhere to take us near anywhere to get us a comfortable and a life that is desired for a decent work.
Like a living wage.
Like a living wage. We told him about the economic reality and situation. We told him about the hardship in the transportation. We told him about the market inflation rate, unstable market and commodity. We told him about the healthcare system, which is almost out of the way for an ordinary worker like us. We told him about all the situation that this has eroded the 30,000 naira minimum wage, even though Lagos is paying 35,000 naira. So Lagos started, and Edo has now done better than Lagos, and I'm so sure
Edo has topped it up.
Has topped it up. So they want to perform better than Lagos, and I'm so sure Mr. Governor has listened to that. And because Lagos is the center of excellence, and he knows that Lagos there is a peculiarity with Lagos State. There should be a kind of an allowances that should be paid to workers in Lagos State. You cannot compare the rent of houses, how much you pay in Lagos to what you pay in Edo State, and even the transportation cost, the market rate, everything is so expensive in Lagos. So, and for that, there is going to be a Lagos factor, and the governor is going to do better than Edo State.
I like when you said the Lagos factor.
Lagos factor, there should be a Lagos factor. Like River State, Lagos State, Abuja, and Kano.
Yeah.
They should have some factors in which their salaries should be a little bit higher.
I would note this Lagos factor you just talked about.
Yes, Lagos factor. And I'm so sure
factor.
Mr. Governor is also listening.
And he understands what that Lagos factor is.
Yes, he should.
Okay.
And if you want to rent a 2-bedroom flat in Lagos, it's not the same amount you pay in Edo that you pay in Lagos State. We all know that.
Yeah.
And,
all right. Now, I'll note this Lagos factor. Now, but talk to us. Now that you've mentioned the governor, we know that in every state, the relationship between labor and state governments, they vary here and there. You go to this state, it's like that. You go to here, it's like this. It could be friendly in some instances. It could be sour in the other. But in Lagos, what kind of relationship does the or do you have with the state government when it comes to the welfare of workers from one sector to another sector? There's health, there's education, there's all of them put together.
We are very lucky in Lagos that we have a governor that is he has adopted an open door policy with the labor, and he has a listening ear to the labor. It's not a perfect situation. It's not a perfect situation, but it's a situation in which, at least to some extent, we are still happy with our governor compared to some other states in which the workers are actually suffering, in which they have not implemented the minimum wage. Lagos State took the lead by starting the implementation of the 30,000 naira first, and also even increase its own higher than the federal government own. Started with 35,000 naira. And at the Workers' Day rally that we had on Sunday, the governor announced that the consequential adjustment on the increase in the minimum wage is also going to be extended, effected for the retirees.
Okay.
So it's going to clear the backlog for the retirees in the state, and within a short period of a time, it will ensure that the retirees have all that is due for them. And anytime that there is an increase in our own salary, the retirees are also supposed to have about 33.3% of the consequential adjustment the governor has promised. And we believe that it's going to work the talk. And we will also be on our toes to ensure that all the promises, and that this, our governor in Lagos State, compared to the recent past, he has performed creditably well. And he is really doing so much for the workers. He granted us landed properties around Lekki axis, 5 hectares at Idera.
Wow,
that's about amazing. 180 plots of land for the workers' village, and also another 5 hectares around Badagry axis for the workers' village as well. That makes 10 hectares.
He
has graciously granted us about almost 2+ of land at the Central Business District around the Chapel of Light for the labor centers, NLC and the TUC, to also build our secretariat. And he also promised that he's going to render help in putting up a befitting secretariat for the 2 labor centers. Not only that, he has granted the 65 years retirement that was extended and approved by Mr. President for the teachers. We told him about it, that we want Lagos to take the lead by implementing it first, because Lagos actually has a large cache of people, and Lagos is the receiving center for everybody. Let's shift the Unity Center from Abuja and bring it to Lagos, because right now people who have been displaced from crisis areas, like in the northern parts, in the southeast,
Lagos is housing some of them.
Majorly, many of them, at least about 80% of them, because they cannot also, stay in Abuja because of the escalating cost of living in Abuja. So at least to some extent, Lagos, still have the large heart of receiving these people in large numbers on daily basis. And if you have to look at the last census, which was taken around year 2006, 2007, thereabout, if you have to count the census of people living presently in Lagos State now, I am so sure it will double that number. And yet, it's still the same allocation that Lagos is still receiving from the federal government.
Yeah, there was a time there was a call for a 1% derivation to Lagos, for its status, and a lot of persons saw it.
Federal government should look at that. Lagos is actually bridging the gap for all these displaced people, and is the receiving center. So that is stretching the expenses of Lagos.
And a lot of pressure on the infrastructure of Lagos.
So much pressure on it. Even at that, the government is still, trying to ensure all the amenities and infrastructures at the long run that will bring some kind of relief and reprieve to the workers are being, taken. Like the blue rail, the red line for the train.
The rail lines coming up.
The blue one will come from around Okoko to Marina, and that will transmit a whole number of Lagosians from around that axis to come and work and then do their trading and then go back. And also the red line from Butemeta, to Ogun State, that's at the Joko axis. So that also speaks volume. Then recently you can see this is what we have seen, and we have to talk about what we have seen. It's not about, they are telling us, but we have used our 2 eyes to see it. And on Sunday, I told Mr. Governor that nothing stops Mr. Governor in making sure that more women are also allowed
the
to
woman
come
factor is really emerging.
Yes. So there should be no gender disparity in who does what. Women can also, drive the train. They can move the train. Then all these new Lagos taxis, thousands of them, and even the BRT buses, let the government engage women. Women will help them to also drive the economy better.
It's amazing. You're here as the chairman of NLC.
Yes.
So it's a great testimony.
People can attest to it that at least for being the chairperson of NLC, as a woman, we have been, given a leadership role and qualities that people actually, expected from us.
All right.
So, and Mr. Governor is also, he has agreed with me, and he said that we should help him to also ask more women.
It's beautiful when I see women drive the BRT buses sometimes, and also,
we want to see more women coming in.
It's really amazing.
Into the transport sector.
I have a friend who plies the BRT, and he says that I like it. I prefer it when the lady is a driver.
Because sometimes it seems to be more careful. Managers are very careful.
Now, let me ask you this last question before we go. The point there is, so that it doesn't look like we are only collecting, asking, how do you, the NLC, how do you ensure that your workers, meet up the standards of what they are supposed to do? Those who are not meeting up, you discipline them or ensure that workers are working the way they're supposed to. so that it doesn't look like, okay, government give to us. What are you giving on the other hand?
Thank you so much. Mr. Governor Sanwo-Olu commended all the efforts of the workers in Lagos State, both in the private sector and also in the public sector, because even during the pandemic, the workers in Lagos State, we were not relenting in the effort to ensure that we still continue to, make Lagos State to work every day. Do you want to talk about the healthcare sector? You want to talk about the doctors, the nurses, who were always at their places of work, even in the face of the pandemic? They were not even afraid, scared about their life. We lost some of them to COVID-19, but they still continue. Do you want to talk about those ones, the sweepers on the streets?
Yeah.
So they were everywhere, ensuring that they clear the garbages, and then they work. Those who are in the private sector, companies, ensuring that production continues, so that there will be no shutdown of the economy in Lagos State. So we have condition of service for different and various offices and employers engagement rules.
I'm glad to hear all of those. Of course, I'll bring you back again for us to look at those areas, because an average employer would like to see what the NLC is doing to ensure that they make workers work optimally, and then everybody is going to be a win-win situation for workers and employees as well, for the employer and the employee. Thank you very much, Comrade Funmilayo Sesi, Chairman NLC Lagos State Chapter. We commend what you're doing, and keep it going that way. Well done.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.